Welcome to the first Sports Jam of 2013. I'm John Jacobson.
I'm Jay Wilcox. Happy New Year. Later in the show in our Sports Jam Spotlight, we'll meet a Wayzata wrestling standout who has great bloodlines. And we'll talk hockey with the Maple Grove boys.
Let's start, though, with boys basketball. After a 9-0 start that included wins over Apple Valley and Osseo, number one team in Class 4A, Park Center, faced another tough opponent and the number one team in Class 3A, De La Salle. This one out on Nicollet Island. First basket of the game, a one-handed jam by De La Salle's Reed Travis. Nice way to start on the start of a huge night for Travis. Quentin Hooker shakes a defender, answers with a jump shot for the Pirates. Jarvis Johnson threads the needle to James Lawson for the reverse layup for the Islanders. And the always excitable coach Dave Thorson. Then Hooker finds Isaiah McKay on the inbounds pass. McKay nails the baseline three-pointer. It's 38-34 Pirates at halftime. Hooker gets the steal here early in the second half and glides in for two of his 24 points. But Park Center can't stop Travis. He gets the rebound and put-back basket here. He scores 26 points in the second half, 36 in the game. Park Center loses 74-60.
The other two schools in District 279 also have solid boys basketball teams. Osseo's lost just 2 games to very good Park Center and Apple Valley teams, while Maple Grove had won 5 straight coming into their meeting with Osseo before a packed house at Maple Grove. Osseo starts strong. Bridge Tussler turns the corner and nobody stops his dribble, so he scores for an early 12-3 Orioles lead. Tussler with a nice assist here. He'll find Malik Wilson for 2 inside. Osseo grabs a 27-13 lead. Good ball rotation here for the Orioles leads to a baseline jumper for Wheeler Baker. He scores 10 in a balanced Osseo attack, and they lead 41-26 at halftime. Second half, and Wilson works hard inside. He gets it back after hitting the backboard and scores, plus a foul. He scores 16. Maple Grove, though, puts together a nice run. Jake Winicky sets up Matt Lindgren for the pull-up jumper, and the Crimson pull within 5. Osseo responds, though, as Ian Tyson will score with the left hand inside. Osseo takes round 1 against their rivals. 74-68 is the final. Also in the Northwest Suburban, Champlin Park hosting Coon Rapids. JT Gibson sends it across to Ian Smith for a 3-pointer from the wing. Champlin Park takes command from the start. The Rebels' trapping defense gives the Cardinals fits. Trevor Garrison will send it ahead to Gibson for the layup here. And it's 10-2 Champlin Park. Great passing, especially in the first half for the Rebels. Gibson finds Brennan Witt, who lets the defender go by and lays it in. And 4 players will touch the ball here in quick order. Witt finishes with a finger roll plus a foul. He leads the Rebels with 17. Michael Sales drives and sets up Matt Juneau for 2. Champlin Park leads 51-14 at halftime on the way to an 82-39 win.
One day after losing to 4th-ranked Hopkins, the Cooper boys basketball team faced another tough challenge, number 2 Apple Valley, as part of the Timberwolves shootout at Target Center. 2 of the best players in the state in this game, Tyus Jones for Apple Valley, Rashad Vaughn for Cooper. In the early going, Jones drives the floor and scores for the Eagles. Vaughn answers for Cooper, scoring underneath. Then off the Apple Valley miss, Billy Kellogg with a rebound. Watch the quick outlet pass to Trajan Carson for 2 more. Vaughn with a sweet turnaround jumper from the baseline as part of a 35-point game for the junior. Final seconds of the first half. Dennis Austin knocks the ball away, and Jones gets to the loose ball and beats the buzzer. But the Hawks lead 36-35 at halftime. Roy Williams and Tubby Smith among the college coaches in attendance. Second half, Vaughn rises up, cans a 3-pointer, and then he'll slash to the hoop for 2 more here. It's 54-43 Cooper. But the Eagles come back. Austin, nice work down low. He gets the basket and the foul for Apple Valley. Jones then with the assist to Austin as the Eagles outscore the Hawks 31-9 down the stretch, and they win at 80-70.
In girls basketball, Osseo and Maple Grove renewed their rivalry as part of a girls-boys doubleheader. Both teams coming off rough holiday tournament showings. Allie Schmidt gets it to Angie Davison for a 3 for the Crimson. It's a sign of things to come for Davison at 16-8 Maple Grove. Osseo battles back. Phyllis Webb sends it across to Courtney Calkins, who gets the friendly bounce on the rim, even in a road game here. Osceo's within 3 at this point. Maple Grove swings it to a wide open Davison, and that's not a good thing for Osseo as Davison nails it. Maple Grove leads 36-27 at the half. Maple Grove continues to lead it. Julie Hager drives and shovels it over to Davison, cutting for the layup for an 11-point Crimson lead. And a double pick frees Davison on the inbounds play, and she nails a long 3. It's part of a career-high 31-point game for Davison. Hager finds Kayla Jones cutting for a layup as Maple Grove takes a 72-60 win. It's Osceo's 4th straight loss.
It was a busy weekend for local teams in boys swimming and gymnastics. At the Maroon and Gold Invitational at the University of Minnesota, Eden Prairie dominates the gold division, finishing way ahead of Minnetonka and East Ridge. Maple Grove places 7th. In the Maroon division, Wayzata is 2nd between the 2 Lakeville schools. South wins it. Breck Blake is 7th and Hopkins 9th. Osseo placed 3rd in the Tiger division. In gymnastics, Wayzata is 2nd behind host Roseville at the MGGOA meet in Division 1. Trojans edged Lake Conference rival Eden Prairie for 2nd place. In Division 2, Park Center places 7th. Centennial, Highland Park, and White Bear Lake take the top 3 spots there.
And Wayzata and Eden Prairie, close one there. They could end up battling for the Section 6 AA title at season's end.
That's true. The Trojans edged the Eagles in a dual meet back in December. Could meet again, definitely as part of that section meet next month. Coming up here on Sports Jam, hockey highlights, including a rematch between Powers Wayzata and Benilde St. Margaret's.
After a slow start to the season against some pretty good competition, the Maple Grove boys hockey team is now playing well.
They picked up 2 conference wins last week. One of those came against Osseo in the 40th all-time meeting between the Orioles and the Crimson. Nice work on the power play for Maple Grove here. Drake Thompson with a one-timer for the goal. It's 2-0 Crimson in the first period. Up 3-0 in the second. Maple Grove's Josh Passold scores from the top of the circle. It's another power play goal. Now 4-0 Maple Grove. Great breakout pass from Joe Franta onto the stick of Nate Erickson, who goes in and scores. Erickson with a goal and 2 assists in the game. The Crimson net their 3rd power play goal of the game. A few minutes later, Joe Franta's shot is stopped, but Sam Valerius buries the rebound for his 2nd of the night to make it 6-0. The Crimson adds 2 more in the second period, including the first varsity goal for Jack Kubelbeck. Maple Grove wins 8-0. Their 7th straight win in the series against Osseo. We'll hear from the Crimson later in the show.
The Wayzata boys hockey team blasted Benilde St. Margaret 7-1 in the championship of the Red Knights Holiday Tournament. The teams facing off again in St. Louis Park early in the second. Benilde's TJ Moore with the wrist shot, 1-0 Benilde. The Red Knights on the power play a few minutes later. Grant Bessie's slap shot is blocked, but he gets another chance, and he'll drive this one home. Bessie's 22nd of the season makes it 2-0 Red Knights. And they get another late in the second period. Matt Arneson passes out front where Moore and number 8 Spencer Nas bang at it. Nas knocks it in. It's 3-0 Red Knights through 2. Third period, and Dan Lebowski with a nice pass onto the stick of Bessie, who nets his 2nd of the night. That makes it 4-0 Benilde. Wayzata does break the shutout 4 minutes into the period. Chad Olson scores on the rebound to make it 4-1. But it's the Red Knights getting a little revenge on the Trojans. They win it 5-2.
Well, obviously we weren't happy with that game the other day against these guys. So, we wanted to come out hard, and, right away I thought we brought the energy, and, the puck the bounces went our way for a little bit and got some goals, and, it was a big win for sure.
Well, it's been a rough start for the Armstrong boys hockey team. The Falcons look to turn that around Saturday. The family of former Falcons assistant Don Moore, who died last May, honored as longtime Armstrong head coach Bruce Johnson makes his return to New Hope as an Elk River assistant. The Elks strike early. Andrew Zerban up the right side, and he beats the D to flip a backhander home just 35 seconds into the game. A tough first period for Danny Charleston's Falcons. Jake Yaremko drops it to Tim Sanford over to Chase Springman for the goal, and a 3-0 Elk River lead. Armstrong goalie Grant Mathiasen collides with a teammate here, leaving an open net for Jack McDonough to bury it, and it's 4-0 Elks after a 1 period. former North Star Gordy Roberts, the new head coach at Elk River, and his team gets one here as Grant Bunker's shot is blocked, but it'll trickle to Evan Langston. His backhander stopped, but Nolan Dwyer buries the rebound. Armstrong gets something to cheer about in the third. Tommy Wood to Cole Gergen to Brady Johnson for the goal to make it 6-1 at this point. Johnson picks the defenseman's pocket and scores another goal here, but it's too little too late as Armstrong falls 7-2.
After starting last year 1-11, the Providence Academy hockey team got out of the gate much better this season. The Lions carried a 6-5 record into Saturday's game against fourth-ranked Breck. This one from Breck Anderson Arena. First period, Breck on the power play. Matt Colford to Jack O'Connor, who finds the whole left side of the Lions net open. Breck leads 1-0. The Mustangs get two shorthanded goals on a Providence power play, including this one from Colford, who beats goalie Nick Pruden to score the first of his 4 goals in the game. The Lions get a shorty of their own a few minutes later. Jake Braun scores on the breakaway, and it's a 3-1 game. It's Braun's 8th goal of the season. Breck answers that before the end of the period. Colford, Thomas Lindstrom for the goal. Mustangs lead 4-1 after 1. 25 seconds into the second period, Derek Wachtala springs Colford for a breakaway. Colford's goal makes it 5-1 Breck. 4 minutes later, Ben Gleekel shoots the puck wide here from the point. The Michael Orkey gets the puck and scores on the wraparound, and it's 6-1 Mustangs. It's a long day for Coach Hal Terse and the Lions. Lindstrom nets a hat trick for Breck as the Mustangs skate to a 10-1 win. Teams play again January 29th in Plymouth. In girls hockey, Wayzata and Maple Grove will have a tough road at section time with Benilde, Minnetonka, and Hopkins also in 6AA. The Trojans and Crimson are having pretty good seasons, though, as they faced off last week in Plymouth. Wayzata gets a scoring opportunity here, but Crimson goalie Brianna Blessing proves to be tough to beat all night. Maple Grove looking to break a scoreless tie, and they come close. Summer Thibodeau's shot is close in onto the side of the net. It stays 0-0 through 1. Wayzata gets the best of the chances in the second period of play. Mara Doherty making a bid here, but Blessy makes the save and covers the rebound. Then it's good passing out front to Allison Kirk, but Blessy in great position to make the save, and we're still at 0-0 through 2. 25 saves in all for Blessy. Wayzata breaks the deadlock in the third period. Ellen Rethwich gets it to a wide open Sophia Shaver for the goal. That's the only goal of the night. Trojans didn't get frustrated with the 2 scoreless periods.
Even though it's been 0-0 the entire game, we can come back in the third period, and it shows how hard we're working to get the goal in the third period and finish the game with a win.
The Hopkins girls hockey team is having a good season, but there's plenty of tough competition in the Lake Conference. The Royals taking on Minnetonka in this one. A good scoring chance here. Leah Chase, the shorty Sharon for the one-timer, but it's stopped by Hannah Erzman of the Skippers. And the Skippers strike later in the first. Darby Flatley with the rush. She loses it, but it goes right to Riley McDonald, and it's 1-0 Minnetonka. The Royals can't generate much offense, and when they do, Erzman makes the save. She gets the shutout, and Tonka wins this one 1-0. Well, Saturday marked a big day of wrestling tournaments, including 2 that were hosted by local squads. At the Brooklyn Center Invitational, Osseo finishes a half point behind champion Minnetonka. Rogers is 3rd. Host Brooklyn Center Concordia places 8th. At the Paul Bankston Invitational at Hopkins, the host Royals are 2nd behind Lakeville South. Minneapolis South is 3rd with Maple Grove placing at 5th.
Close call there for Osseo.
Yeah, half point after that whole tournament. That's got to be a tough one here. But keeping up with the wrestling theme, up next in our Sports Jam Spotlight, we'll meet a Wayzata senior with a familiar name to local grappling fans. He's one of a few local wrestlers with legitimate hopes of winning a state title this season. In this week's Sports Jam Spotlight, we meet a Wayzata senior with good wrestling bloodlines. He really was born to wrestle. Wayzata senior Weston Droegemueller is following in the footsteps of his father, Dave, a Wayzata assistant and 2-time state champ at Osseo. his uncle Darren, another title winner for the Orioles, and his late grandfather Ken, a Hall of Fame coach at Osseo who was also an All-American wrestler at Mankato State.
I was probably kind of put in there, when I was a little guy, but I just started to love it, and it kind of came to one of those things where I was put in it, but then I just stayed with it, and it's something I love to do, so it got better and better as I kept trucking along.
Weston's ranked third at 138 pounds and is placed in the top 3 at the Minnesota Christmas Tournament and the Rumble on the Red, 2 of the top tournaments around. A 5-time state entrant, he placed 4th last year and is aiming for a title this season.
I came in and I expected to win it, but nearing in the semis and went into overtime and I lost, and it was tough, but I came back and got 4th, and it was a good year, and I was kind of expecting to win state, so it was a little disappointing, but I'm glad I placed, and I don't know, I was kind of proud, but also kind of disappointed.
His coaches think he's on the right track to compete for a championship in many ways.
He's a great kid. He does everything he's supposed to. He's real intense. He drills hard. He practices hard. He lives it. Would expect him to progress this year as he has through his whole career and give himself a great opportunity to win in the end.
Great kid, great leader, well-liked, good people skills. It's real easy to coach. Dad always used to say that, it's easier when your kids are successful than if they're not, because then it just throws a whole other wrench into the situation.
There's no doubt Weston's gotten some good coaching. Check out his living room wrestling skills when he was not quite 3 years old in a story we did back in 1998. Having Dave around so much is great.
Yeah, it's positive for sure. He can help me at home, he can help me in practice, and I see him everywhere. At school, he's a teacher, and it's good to have him in the room. He's one of the best wrestlers in Minnesota back in the day, and it's really nice to have him, kind of his different style, and then Hartung's different style, and I can kind of pick and choose what I like and kind of take it as mine.
And learning from his grandpa Ken before he passed away in 2007 was big too.
My grandpa did show me a lot when I was a little guy, and he got sick kind of at the point where I was getting a little bit better, so he couldn't really coach too much, but when I was at a younger age, he showed me the basics, the ropes, kind of the stance, and I do think that he's, looking down from above and watching me, but I didn't really think too much about it, like, oh, I wish he was here right now. I kind of just try and do the best I can and hope that he's looking down and, impressed and proud.
Unlike in most sports, wrestling coaches often do get on the mat and practice. So what would happen if Weston and Dave went head-to-head?
He's getting a little bit older, but he's still got it in him, and we grapple a little bit over the summer, and actually the other day he practiced with me, and he's a good partner. He's a little bit bigger than I am.
I'm so old. I know I remember trying to take on my dad when he was probably about this age, and it was the same way. I'm slower on my feet, definitely heavier. I'm pretty good on the mat still, but he's in phenomenal shape. He's definitely stronger than I was at that age, and I'm pretty strong still and can still compete, but I'm way heavier than him. If we were probably at the same weight, it'd be a tough go for me.
On the feet, I can kind of take him down, but he's pretty. He's still got the rolls, and he's pretty good on top. So I don't think I could beat him in a match.
Weston will follow in his grandpa Ken's footsteps and wrestle at Minnesota State Mankato next year. He says he'd love to coach wrestling someday, but isn't quite so sure about wanting to teach. Sports Jam returns in a moment as John talks with the Maple Grove boys hockey team.
Welcome back to Sports Jam. The Maple Grove boys hockey team enters this week with a record of 7-7 as they get back into more Northwest Suburban Conference play. And joining us now, head coach Gary Stefano, along with Josh Augustine and Charlie Thompson. And Josh has been a struggle to get back to 500, but he played well lately, 4 straight wins. coming into this week, and talk about the turnaround that you've had here the last couple of weeks of play.
You know, we really had a state of mind change. We switched up the lines, got everything a little fresh, a little mix up, and that really boosted the confidence of the guys around us. The lines, we've really been complimenting each other and found that chemistry that's really been a spark and get some guys on the scoreboard.
You knew this was going to be a different team from last year and all the players that you lost. How have you guys adjusted?
You know, it's a little different. Last year we had some guys that would just take the game over if they really wanted to, and this year it's a team effort. There's not one guy that can really step up and take the game over like last year. But as you've seen with us winning more games later on in the season, the younger guys that are coming in are getting used to varsity hockey and stepping up really and playing their roles.
How much fun is that to see, though, that teamwork come together and you guys grind out wins and get team victories?
Oh, it's great. I mean, there's nothing better than winning, especially when last year we were just so accustomed to it. And when you start losing games, you kind of remember what it's like to win, and it's really a lot of fun to get back in it.
Enjoy this winning streak. Good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you, thank you.
Charlie Thompson, you got a recent win here against Osseo, 8-0, and it's always fun to beat a rival like that. And how much confidence you guys playing with now?
You know, we've been playing great. We're on a 3-game win streak right now. Actually, 4 now, actually. And it's exciting, you know. Everyone's starting to come together, and it's exciting to see our hard work, you know, and results that come with it.
How do you bring that experience from last year and bring it to the other guys? Say, you know, this can be a great sport when you're winning, and take some of that success you had and try to translate it into wins this year.
We had some great role models last year. I mean, we've had some great players through the program, and, you know, they were great friends, great players, and I think they really rubbed off on me, and it's exciting to help, you know, these younger guys, and I can't wait to see them when they're seniors.
2 conference games this week, Andover and Champlain Park. What do you expect from the Huskies and the Rebels?
You know, they're both good teams, but the way we've been playing, I'm excited to keep it rolling.
Charlie, good luck.
Thank you.
All right, and Gary Stefano, you talked to us before the Osseo game about having to change things up after that Elk River game, and you got 2 more wins in that holiday tournament, and then 2 more conference wins. Has that made that big of a difference to your team?
Well, you know, you look at the beginning of the year, and, you know, we were playing some awfully good teams too, but I think when we made a couple of changes here and there, I think all 3 lines are gelling pretty good, and we did some, you know, we went with Cal a little bit in the net here, and it's been a big boost for us. But you know, the kids have been working hard. We could have folded earlier in the year when we played these good teams, but you know, coaches got kind of rattled, but the kids kept showing up at the rink, and we kind of knew that you know, we were going to have a tough go at the beginning. But you know, by playing the great teams that early in the season, there's no doubt, you know, it's going to prepare us for the end, and that's all we're really worried about right now.
You're telling me this group of kids kind of has the mindset that even though you weren't winning early, they weren't going to get rattled. They were going to be able to come up and not fold up, and they were going to come back and have a strong season.
Right. You know, I mean, especially it takes a special group of kids to do that, because sometimes when you face adversity, you know, some kids can fold and things aren't going well, and the puck's not going in for them. But we never saw a sign of that. And the other thing is, you know, we had some penalty trouble at the beginning of the year, and we enforced that we can't be in the box when you don't have the skill that you know, we had last year to kill off all the penalties.
Gary, thanks for joining us.
You bet, thanks, John.
Maple Grove Crimson joining us this week on Sports Jam. Again, 7-7 on the season. Games this week against Andover and Champlain Park. We'll take a break and come back and wrap up the show after this timeout. Follow 12 Sports replays and live events on Twitter, Facebook, and live stream. Watch your favorite high school athletes performing live on your computer or mobile device. Link to us on 12.tv.
National studies show that students who participate in activities like music, sports, and drama not only have better grades and attendance, but they develop the character to handle adversity, the grace to accept defeat, and the self-confidence to start over. Take part. Get set for life.
Our game of the week is a Northwest Suburban Conference matchup in boys basketball. Armstrong hosts Champlain Park Friday night at 7. You can watch it live on the web at new.livestream.com. Catch the replays on Channel 12 Saturday night at 8:30 and 11 o'clock. And that will do it for this week's Sports Jam. Thanks so much for watching.
Yeah, we'll see you next week.
Mark Saturday, February 2nd on your calendar for the 24th Annual Fire and Ice Winter Celebration at Parker's Lake Park in Plymouth. Find out more at 12.tv.